Hello. All right. Let's get situated here. Hey, Garen. Let's see. Let's tame this ratchet just a little bit. There we go. All right. A little sound check here. Phonics, good to see you. I'm hoping, let me know if everything sounds okay. Voice, synths, etc., etc. You just watched last night's Revelation? Is that a film about the Bible or something? Or something? It's not something I invented. I knew about it. I use it in the MIDI side a lot, but I hadn't done it in Modular. But the global transposition thing. And other people are doing it. You just got to stack enough quantizers, really. Or have smart enough. The modules are getting so smart now that they'll do it for you. So, hey Miro, Jeff, my case. So tonight, I think I said we were going to work in Locrian, or I hinted at that in the thing. We're not. I was messing with it, and nothing came in the last hour. I was messing around with it, and I'm like, yeah, Locrian's always difficult to work with. And so we went back to like A minor. But I have a thing I want to talk about tonight that I hadn't mentioned recently. Haven't mentioned in a stream yet. Mr. Dawson, is it? So when people have their first initial, so Andy told me what your name is, Mr. Dawson, and I would refer to you by your name, but if you just use the letter, maybe you don't want me to, so let me know. Yeah, Nigel. Okay, Nigel. I was going to call you Nigel, but not everybody, wants that, right? So the thing I'm going to make a little noise, but the sound, I assume the sound's coming through, okay? Playing around with the hard sync, or the sync. I'm not sure if it's hard or soft, but on the matriarch, you get some really cool metallic. Tompi is a previous cat. Life is a long series of pets. I understand. Appropriate minor key for pet memories. Onyx, good to see you. So, one thing I wanted to talk about tonight was, to date for the stream, all of my patterns have been not breaking, but they haven't been following one rule that I use a lot, which is to leave space in the patterns. And so tonight, all the patterns, they're not just ducka, 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 ducka. There's gaps, right? And on the Metropolix, it involves just taking a stage and telling its pulse count to go to 8, but only play one pulse, the first pulse. So we get right? This four stage pattern's got a nice break, a nice long stage in stage 2, right? Right, it holds. Now, granted, the delay echoes are filling some of those gaps, but it gives us a little space to work in. So when we bring in one of the other patterns that's also doing the same thing, and they're phasing because they're different lengths, you get them filling gaps on each other, which is a lot less fatiguing and a lot more interesting, I think, if you're doing the quieter, more spacious ambient Berlin School. So like this second pattern coming in here. Lots of space. It doesn't mean you can't have ratchets or... I think we're coming around to a ratchet. There it is. Right, so you can still have energetic bits, but having those empty spaces for breathing room, when you start layering patterns on, it works pretty well. So let me pull out that pattern. Let's put a different one on. All right, so this pattern, running over here, it's 3 stages, but the middle stage is just empty and just blank. Right? And as we make that have more stages in it, the melody will change, the pattern, will change. And then there's space to breathe. And we could fill it with a pad, right? So all the streams that I've done for the last week none of them had any space in any of the patterns. A little breathing room. Marty Lawrence, good afternoon. We'll repeat it. Repeat that melody. So that's 2, and now we'll vary it. And then return home and do it again. Yeah, so we're kind of down tempo tonight. The other thing I've got working on that I'm going to be sort of incorporating is a little more live looping because I like to get a pattern running that's sort of significantly long, right? So like at this low tempo, I'll do an 8-bar bass pattern. That'll let me do 2 variations in it. A sparse one, just like the patterns have gaps in them. We'll do a sparse bass part, like a lot of sustains, and then we'll do a more energetic one. And then when that starts looping, you start to get this ebb and flow of energy. Right? Not the mystical kind, but the musical kind. Let's see. I set the wrong pattern length, so my recording length was too short there. I want to get 2 of those in there, so I'm going to change it to be 16. And I'll re-record that. Actually, I'm going to make it a little even sparser. Work the bass line from Barney Miller in there. Yeah, okay. There's a 16 bar bass line. And so that'll keep going, and we'll have this sort of sparser part at the beginning. We'll bring in maybe another pattern. When the bass picks up, we'll bring another pattern in. I'll just bring the volume up. Then we can put a lead over it. I'm going to add one more bass pattern, and just to bring it back down, and then I'm going to pay attention to the chat for a minute. So. Good enough for now. Wasn't really happy with that, but I don't feel like re-recording it because I want to know what you guys are doing. So hang on a minute. Alright, we'll kill that. Let's bring this all down. Let's bring in a new pattern while I'm paying attention to this thing. There we go. We'll bring this up an octave. Maybe not. All right, so what am I missing here? All right. Let's see, my case. Nigel, phonics, Karen. All right, so it's the usual suspects here. Cool. I need to do better about live looping, Jeff says. It just takes time, a little practice. It'll get there. Having a grid, well, not to say having a grid. Ableton is like one of the easiest tools to live loop with, right? The only thing I think easier than Ableton is to get a looper pedal. That's probably even easier, but you know. So challenge, work the bass line from Barney Miller into a sketch. I was more partial to the bass line from Night Court than Barney Miller, actually, but I don't want to do that either. So. You like this bed on this one much better than previous nights, Jeff? Yeah, because it's a little sparser, right? So if you came in late, the point of this point of today, right? We're already 17 minutes in. Is one of the things that I say when you're making your Berlin School patterns in a bunch of previous videos. I say pick a key, do short repeating figures, but also leave space in them. Right, and to date in the streams for this week, I haven't left any space in them. They've all been total ducka-ducka-duckas, right? One note, eighth notes all the way. So tonight what I endeavored to do was to put spaces in all the patterns and make them a lot sparser, which is nice because then you can actually hear things like the ambience, the reverbs, play with the delays, do interesting things there, right? You want to break out your Chase Bliss pedals, right, and do crazy stuff, or your, whatever your lo-fi manglers are. Have at it. It's going to be much easier to hear what those things do if you've got sparse patterns with a lot of space to hear how is it mangling the note, right? So let's pull this one out. Let's invert them. Let's bring this one in. We'll make the high one the bass one and the low one the top one. Right? Because that's something else you can do for variation. Like there's no reason why you've got a lead and a bass. You can't just invert them because like a melody's a melody. I don't care if it's a bass melody or a lead melody, right? People say don't put too many bass things together because it gets muddy. If your patterns are sparse enough, you could layer a couple bass patterns, not even have to think about it. I've got 2 bass patterns running here right now. Now if I try and play bass guitar over this, it might not be so great, but I could do a high part, right? All right, let's see. What are we doing on time? 8:22. All right, so let's look at the chat real quick. There's one other thing I wanted to show you guys. Let's see. All right. Let's see. Night court, okay. Yep. Are the rhythmic densities controlled by the modular rig? Yes. So the sequencers have 8 stages, and each stage has 1 to 8 pulses that it sits on that stage for. Okay, so like the sliders are, I know I need to get a modular cam like Andy has so I can show you guys, but if you look at, if you go to like Modular Grid and look at a Metropolis or Metroplex, there's sliders for pitch, and below that are little ratcheting sliders for pulse count, and it goes from 1 to 8. So if you've got a clock coming in, think of the clock as pulses. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, by default, if you set all the pulses to 1 pulse, it'll go through the 8 stages, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? If you put all the pulse counts to 2 pulses, it's a half that time, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? So if you got 16th note pulses coming in on the clock, and you set all your pulse counts to 1, you've got an 8-step 16th note sequencer. What I've done here is, because each of these sliders is variable by stage, this stage 1 is 2 pulses, stage 2 is 2 pulses, stage 3 is 8 pulses. So what happens is you get 1, 2, 3, and 3 holds for 8 pulses instead of 2. So dot 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 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? So it's boom, boom, bump, hold, boom, boom, boom. It keeps going. That's what we're listening to. Right? Actually, I've got it offset, so it's not using those stages, but that's the problem. In the dark here, I lose control of what I'm doing. Where is it? I can't see. Old man blind. Okay. There we go. All right, so let's set this to 3 stages. It helps if you turn up the thing you're actually going to listen to. And the other thing on Metropolis is you can change the clock divisions as well. So I don't have it counting in 16th note pulses. Let me do this. There we go. All right. So we got 3 stages. Boom, boom, bump. All right. Let's make it a little brighter. All right. So it's 8th notes. Boom, boom, bump. But that 3rd stage is being held for 8 pulses instead of 2. So it holds it out, right? So all of these patterns on this particular sequencer, every stage can have a variable number of pulses, right? So that's how you get the sparse parts in there, right? Sorry, it's a really roundabout way in poor execution to try and explain how that works, but I'll try and cook up a better way to do it in another stream. So, let's see. Yeah, are the spaces that initial phrase? I don't understand the question, Onyx. Are the rhythmic densities controlled by the modular rig? The spaces in the initial phrase? Yeah, okay. I did understand that question. Yeah. Garen says looper pedal opens up some possibilities for very free timing changes. Yep. Yeah, looper pedals are great, except I suck at using them, so I'm an Ableton guy. Do you have to stop the looper pedal? Yeah. Yeah, looper pedals. That's like a whole culture in and of itself. I'm gonna punt on that one because I know they exist and I've used them poorly. You'll have to go find a long hair who smells like herb butter. Who's carrying a guitar on his back. He'll know. Someone will know how. Go to a Dead show. Someone will show you how to use a looper. Let's see. I just get stuck jamming out on static patches too much. That's okay, as long as you're having fun. Getting actual development live is a trick. It takes some effort. Intention, right? I do it too. I totally lose myself. Let me get this going here. And let's see. Sounds like Oxygen from JMJ. That's very high praise. Thanks, Marty. Let's see. But wouldn't the stage 3 not appear as ratchets? You can do ratchets. What it is when the pulse count is high on the Metropolix. Anyway, when the pulse count is high, the ratchets that you set are divided by the pulse count. So you can actually get weird you can get like weird subdivisions. So like if your pulse count's 5, but your ratchet's 7, you get some really strange ratchet timings, and it's fun. But you can totally get the classic ratchet sound you want, no matter how many pulse counts are there, how many pulse counts you've got on the stage. It will sound like one long note. So that's the third option that I didn't talk about on this sequencer. You can tell it to hold for one, that initial pulse and then hold for the rest of them, or you can tell it to actually execute on every pulse. So you have options. Go to IntelliGel's website and take a look at the manual for the Metropolix. It's a good reference. It'll at least give you, the first chapter will give you some interesting use cases of how to use it. But I'm still learning, right? Cool. Thanks, Onyx. Lack of intention is the right way to phrase that. Yeah, that's okay. Because if you guys are pros and you're getting paid, maybe you are. If you are, then it's on you as an obligation to provide entertainment to the people who are paying the tickets to come see you, right? I don't have that pressure on me, right? So if I go non-linear and my intention fades away and I lose, I go into a trance somewhere, I'm pretty sure you guys will just hang up, right? But you won't be angry at me because you've wasted money. So I think we're fine. Professionals coming here for advice may not be the wisest choice. Let's see. My whole January last year was loopers, mostly pedals. Garen, I'll have to go back and rewatch your videos. You like that pressure too? Cool. All right. So how we doing? Oh, I'm at 8:30. So guys, I'm just going to cut it short. And I apologize. It's just that I do not want to burn out, right? And so the long streams this weekend were great. But the fact that they were on the morning was great because that meant on Sunday I had almost 18 hours before I had to start thinking about the next stream. So the pressure is kind of on. So I'm going to pull it all back, shut it down, and I'll see you tomorrow if you're around, or later in the week, or next week, or whenever. Okay? A lot of you I'll see on the Discord server. So which is the internal stream of catching up on everyone else's January. So thanks, guys. I'm just going to jam out. Feel free to leave or stay. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna go non-linear here for a little bit. All right. There we go. Got to get you out of my bass register. Damn it. loop a bit. All right. Cool. All right, everybody. If you're still here, have a good night, and I will talk to you later. See ya.